Hi, I thought I would show you today another reuse of a tool. This is by Black & Decker, and it's a really nice heavy-duty drill press, and it's designed to put your hand drill into this chuck here, and then you can use this to bring your drill up and down. Well, I didn't have a lot of use for it since I have another drill press. And I was making these little lids for a man in town here that was making candles in glass jars, and he wanted wooden lids, cherry, walnut, teak, different things. So I was turning these on a lathe, and then I wanted to sign them on the inside, and I was getting very tired of holding this soldering iron with my imprint on it. And my hand was getting hot, and it was really kind of a pain. So literally, I thought about it, and I had this sitting around, and so what I did was I found that this would hold my soldering iron in place just fine, and then with a spacer block, usually a piece of cardboard to level off what I'm burning on, because when you put this in, if it's not perfectly straight to this, it may not touch all over, and you wind up with an imprint that's just got your name and not the logo. So I found a little piece of cardboard under there, allowed this to come down and sort of self-level, and then work much better. So I thought I'd show you this piece. If you ever see one in a yard sale, that's where I got this one. It's well worth trying to snag one. This is a really heavy-duty tool, and I suspect probably from either the late 40s or early 50s, 55, 56 maybe. But it's really a great piece, and I'll show you a little close-ups of the mechanisms that it has. It's just finely made. Well, let's get a little closer while we're here and see what this thing is all about. I think it's a really high-grade piece of equipment, and sort of surprises me that they made one this well for the home market. This whole apparatus here slides up and down on this bar. Let me show you how. Just slips nicely like that. There's a collet here that stays in place and a spring that compresses so that you can bring this down, and when you release it, it wants to come back up on its own. Nice and smooth. Here's the Black & Decker logo in here. It's got a serial number underneath. So this part with this bolt through here attaches this to this piece and allows you to be able to move this upper portion up and down and put a larger drill in here between the part that mounts to your chuck and the part that hits on the top of the drill. This way, it's totally adjustable for whatever size drill that you have. Here's a closer look at how they did that. It rides on this face here and keeps it from jiggling around this way. Here's your pull down mechanism, and look how nice this casting is. It's really nicely well thought out and done. The engineers back then, I think, were far superior to what we have today as far as machining these tools. This simply rides on this mechanism. You have a pivot point here, but you see it just pivots on this bar here, and that allows for when you pull this down, you see it's pulling down this whole mechanism down to this level. Now this is an adjustment for raising and lowering the whole thing. If you had a shorter drill or drill bit and you want to get closer to your work, you could release this and the whole thing will come down on this center post and you'd get closer to your work down here. The base itself, cast iron, again, nicely made, a good heavy duty thing with 3 holes here. There's one on the other side there that you can't see. There you go. And so you could bolt this to your bench if you want to. This is a nice sturdy size casting here with a lock bolt in here. And this is a nice piece of machined steel. Now, the way that this holds your drill in place is really pretty simple. This piece here, you would just turn back and that frees up the pressure on the back of your drill. Now, of course, this is not a drill, but it worked perfectly for this, and that's what I would suggest anybody finding this would use it for. Let me get my other hand free. I'll put this on the tripod and I'll show you how this comes out. So you have this piece here that goes up and down, and that would hit the top of your drill. And this piece here, you see, just opens up like this. So this is made round here to hold the chuck of your drill and your drill up here, and then you would just turn on the switch. And this is a nice little mechanism. It slides along these 2 bars so it can open and close like that. And when I first put the piece in here, I didn't think it was really going to hold that well, but it actually did. Let me show you how nice and tight it gets. I put it in the same place that you would put a drill, and I turned it so that it's perpendicular to my work, and then just brought this down, and what that does is puts a little bit of tension on there and it keeps it from moving, and then you can lock that down like that. Well, there you have it. It's a pretty handy tool, pretty nicely made, and it's coming soon to your nearest yard sale, so look for it. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and thanks for joining me in the shop. Seriously, a lot of times when you're looking at ways to do things, you can repurpose tools that were designed for other uses. And rather than tossing them away, you can find new uses for them. It's always a good thing. So next time you see one of these in a yard sale, I'd go ahead and grab it. Thanks for joining me in the shop today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back soon. You take care.